And we roll on. Hour 2, you're watching CNN. I'm Brooke Baldwin. We begin with the emotional outburst from Michael Brown's stepfather on the night the world learned the officer who killed Brown would not be indicted. What Louis Head screamed was no doubt controversial, but now Ferguson police are trying to determine if it was criminal. They are looking now into whether Head, who is married to Brown's mother, should be charged with inciting a riot over his blow-up, which the New York Times recorded. Let me stress, there are no charges against Louis Head, at least at this point in time. But let me bring in HLN host and former prosecutor, Nancy Grace. Nancy Grace, with your legal hat on, can you please, ma'am, just explain to me the legal definition of inciting a riot and how one would prove it?
I absolutely can, and I would like to point out that in all my years as a lawyer, my whole career devoted to the prosecution of crime, I have never once prosecuted inciting a riot. Number one, it's a misdemeanor, which is 12 months or less behind bars. Number two, you want to tell me that a jury would actually allow somebody to burn the American flag and stomp on it and get away with that? But this guy who says, burn this bitch down, is going to go to jail? Yeah, okay, I don't think so. But let's look at the statute. The statute for inciting a riot in that jurisdiction is when 6 or more people gather together and they reach an agreement, which is a legal term, and that while still assembled, they carry out violence, contrary to the laws of that jurisdiction. The problem here is there is no agreement. For instance, what if I say, hey, I'm going to buy your car, and you go, okay, we don't have an agreement. Which car am I talking about? How much am I going to pay you? Is that okay with you? When are you going to give me your car?
You're not
Bottom line, you can't prove it.
So then, all right, so on that notion, here you have Mr. Head saying 8 different times, burn this belief down. Then you have, as we've seen, fires and looting of businesses, et cetera. How would one, if one were to try, because apparently they are, then connect the dots between words and the actions of others?
Well, that is like mind control. If we had the ability of mind control, FDR probably would have said, okay, kill Hitler, and it would have happened just like that. This is unprosecutable. Okay,
we don't have mind control, Nancy Grace.
No, we don't.
So.
We don't. And that is what they are suggesting that this suspect, this would-be target, has. That he can say, burn this city down, burn this bitch down, and that somehow everybody goes, oh, you're talking about the beauty supply, the liquor store, the drugstore? It's unprovable. And another thing that's concerning me is just because the lieutenant governor goes on the radio and calls for inciting a riot charges, he should be telling the district attorney, not blabbing about it on the radio.
I guess, gosh, I don't even know where to go next. When I'm hearing you loud and clear, and I'm kind of wondering, you hear from Michael Brown's own mother. She said that this was indeed a totally just emotional response. Who ultimately would prove this? Why, even if you think of the optics, we're dealing with the victim's family. Have you ever heard of a case in which one wanted to go after the victim's family for trying to incite a riot?
No, I haven't. Again, I've never even considered inciting a riot as a charge. It's a misdemeanor. Not only that, it's dragging the Ferguson debacle out even further, no matter how you look at it, which side of the fence you're on. And the discussion of charging him with inciting a riot is ridiculous because legally it's unprovable that by his words, burn this B-I-T-C-H down, that he specifically instructed 6 or more people to burn a liquor store, a beauty supply company, a grocery store. It's unfathomable. It cannot be proved. And the discussion of it, I find to be incendiary.
Well, let's end it. And Nancy Grace, thank you. We watch you each and every night on HLN.
Mark my words,
Eastern.
no prosecution.
Thank you.